In this video, I'll be showing how to clone a Team Planner Cosmos database, and I'll be starting off by just showing a brief PowerPoint to set the context. So a clone is essentially a backup restore of the Team Planner Cosmos database. And before we just go through the steps, I'll just take you to the architecture of Team Planner. And we're looking at the Cosmos database, which is bullet 5, the place where all data is saved. And the steps I'll be going through today is just finalizing some of the final steps in setting up a fresh Team Planner on a fresh Cosmos database. I'll be showing how to log in and that I can log in on a completely fresh database. Then I'll be downloading the tool and installing it, migrating configuration, and finally migrating content. And the first step would then be to finalize setup of a fresh Team Planner installation. And I'll just take you to one of my favorite tools. If you don't have it already and you are an administrator of a Team Planner, go ahead and download this. It's Microsoft Azure Storage Explorer, and it allows you to operate, view data right on this application. And what we're seeing here is I have a Cosmos that's called Projectum Demo, and in that there is a database called Demo. This environment contains a fully functional Team Planner installation. And below it, we then have a Demo 2, which is an empty database called, Demo 2. And what I'll be doing is finalizing my setup of Team Planner on Demo 2. And all that remains to be done is starting the app service. And I'll just go ahead and do that now. And what we should see is that it populates the containers like we see above. It simply creates them with the default content of a fresh Team Planner database. And it's launching on the right screen, looks good. First success would actually be seeing the splash screen where it's caching the different containers. If it starts caching, it means it's done creating. And that should be followed up by, once it's done caching, by a access denied to the new Team Planner installation. And that's simply because it's created without any users in it. So let's see what happens when it's done. We should see the doorman. Yes, a 403 forbidden. And like in any installation with Team Planner, we need to create the first user. And we do that by calling a very tailored plugin for that. Looks like this. That will return true if it managed to create the user. And now just going back to the application, it is loading up, which is great. Step 3, I'll be downloading the tool and installing it. And we've provided a link in this PowerPoint. I'll also put it in the comments field below this video. If you click that, it would download a zip file. You can open that and simply unzip the zip file, and you'll have an installer. It's a very small program, so it doesn't take a long time to do. And it will look like this. You click install, and then when it's done, it will simply launch the application. To uninstall it, you need to go to Control Panel, like in many other cases, and you will have a link in the Start menu and potentially also on your desktop. Next step is migrating configuration. And using the clone tool, you'll have the option of migrating configuration only, content and configuration. And just for the sake of this demonstration tutorial, I'll choose configuration only. I'll fill in the database URL, the database access key, and our database, the source is called demo. And before I click next, I just want to check that what we expected to see when we launched Team Planner for the first time, that the containers are now here. That's the case. We could look at the company profile. It's called Demo Team Planner. And Demo 2, the company profile, is called Team Planner. All right. So the name, the display name is actually what we'll be seeing up here. So let me just stop the app service in Azure, and then let's start the migration. So the target database is called Demo 2, and the URL, the access key. There's a small extra thing here called collections prefix, and I would recommend you might or potentially use this when you're creating backups of your customers. A prefix for a backup would be obviously prefixing with the date. And what it does is it puts this prefix on every container. Essentially, this will be prefixed before change sets, company, content configuration, etc. But for this exercise, we're migrating a configuration and intend to use it right now. Leave it blank. Next, just keep it like this. We're migrating documents, obviously. Partition keys are important, especially migrating to an existing customers, and we want to override the target. So next, and now it's working. It's way through the documents that are in the source and copying them, cloning them onto the target. And that doesn't take very long to do. So hang on. And we should be, there we go. We should be seeing a dialog box when it's completed. And go ahead and click finish. We'll close the application again. So just for the sake of it, the Demo 2 company configuration should now have a property there. There we go, display name, where it said Team Planner before. It now says Demo-Team Planner, and that looks good. So if I go ahead and launch my app service in Azure once again, we should see that the dialog, once it's done caching and loading, instead of just saying Team Planner, it should say Demo-Team Planner once it's done caching. And this should be fairly fast as well. Waiting for it. There we go. So it even says Demo Team Planner. So far, so good. So that was migrating configuration step 4. Now on to migrating content as well. And I'll go ahead and just stop the app service in Azure again on the target environment and launch Team Planner Clone tool from the start menu. And again, fill in the source database URL, fill in the access key. The source was called demo, and this time we'll migrate content only. And target was called demo 2. This will obviously take a bit longer to migrate, but let's go ahead and see how long time it actually takes. Maybe a minute or so. It's 1,139 contracts. It's downloading these now. Cosmos to Cosmos is actually fairly fast when migrating. There's a great bandwidth. 964 projects, 312 resources, and it looks to be done, but we'll get the dialog box again. Yeah, 3,144 documents copied successfully. Go ahead and click OK and finish. And then back to starting the app service. And when that launches, I would be very grateful if I would be able to see and select projects and have some data in there as well. So once again, it launches, it starts caching, and this should take a bit longer now that there is actual content to be cached, not only the configuration. Yeah, exactly. Anytime now. There we go. So we see it's actually loading, by coincidence or by my last selection, the Projectum Team Planner 3 project in simulation here. So that's it for me. That's how you do a clone of a Team Planner Cosmos database.